Said your name, man, Jack.
What's this app like to use? Is it tricky to use? Shall I add one of the banks to it? So what's up everyone, my name is Jared Walters. To be honest with you, I don't even know how at this present moment I'm going to put this story across to you, because I have lived it for the past 7 years and I have thought of so many ways that I wanted to tell this story that the best way to do it is literally just to come out and speak to you guys authentically. There's someone else who's now going to be taking a vital role in this channel, and that person has shown me unequivocally that he's still here. The way I'm saying this is almost quite strange, because that someone, from a physical point of view, passed away 20 years ago, and that person is my brother Jonathan. Now, I know how that sounds, but I'm going to show some evidence in this video that I believe demonstrates that there is a connection, and this connection is not just for me and him as brothers, but also a connection that others can take away from as well, because over the last 7 years of my life, Jonathan has left almost like a trail of breadcrumbs, using several different methods, which I will go into in more detail, to help me to understand about the spirit world. As I have been severely sight impaired since birth, it was through the strength and love of my family and friends that I have lived my life independently, despite the shortcomings of my eyes. I have some vision, sure, but let's just say, you wouldn't want to see me behind the wheel of a car. Growing up, my brother was one of the closest people to me. He was kind, mischievous, fun-loving, and thoughtful. I was just 16 when he passed, yet no matter how desperate I felt, how grief-stricken, how alone, I knew deep down that he was never really gone. His spirit lived on. Shortly after his death, I was told by a medium that my brother had become my guide, and I would come to work with him in time. Over the course of the next 10 years, I would see him, hear his voice, or feel his presence. As the years passed, my grief slowly started to turn to curiosity, wonder, and intrigue. I became convinced that some form of us survives the death of the physical body, that life continues on. That started me down the road of becoming a medium and working as your conventional medium, doing your sort of spiritual church type things, doing readings in front of crowds, one-to-one readings privately, readings online. We built up Spiritual Worlds, which is a site we had on Facebook, and I did it for about 2-3 years, and I found it very, very hard. The reason I found it hard was because it wasn't for me. I was struggling with the way I was feeling about spirit when I did shows, and I would go up in front of crowds and give messages. I could feel the pain of the spirits that didn't get their message through. We moved into this house and we had a lot of strange things happening. I sat down to record, to document what was happening, and as I went through the evidence, I could hear this weird sound in the middle of when I'm speaking. So I just grabbed it in the edit suite and kind of slowed it down, and there was what's known as an EVP. This was lasting for a good 5 minutes. I was looking away. How did I go up to invest? Jesus. Now an EVP stands for electromagnetic voice phenomena. I think that's right. And it said, "Truth seeker, share with us." This few months of my life, this started a chain reaction, I believe, that kind of cemented me going down the road of being a paranormal investigator, working with Richard Oliver, who was a local investigator and medium who helps other people who have had paranormal incidents happen in their home. And he was a great help to me when I was going through this experience. And even though I'd met Richard once before this experience, it was through this that we became good friends, and you can see some of our work together on the Paranormal Now channel.
Are you just saying hi, bud?
Jonathan would use EVP multiple times over the years. This is a seance experiment we did in 2014, doing an investigation of a local theatre.
It's true. Hiya, bruv.
John is there, isn't it?
Jonathan, yeah.
John, is there any of the spirits with you?
I believe the EVP here was directed at Richard to ensure I was properly protected in this early part of my paranormal journey. A few weeks later, I decided to go with Richard to a local site north of Cardiff. And we decided to do a little bit of investigation. Now, I'd been on a house case, I'd been on a couple of house cases at this point, but this was my first time sort of out in the field. I didn't have any idea of the equipment that was used for investigation. This is my first time laying eyes on a ghost box. This was a PSB-7 ghost box. One of the investigators, he picks up this radio, which just looks like a radio he's holding in his hand. He's got a little speaker on top of it. And I said, well, what is this? I'm really fascinated by this idea. And I'm like, what is it? And he's like, well, this is a ghost box, basically. What it's supposed to do is it scans through radio frequencies, and its spirit is supposed to manipulate it and give a response. What you're looking for is an intelligent response. So if you ask a question, are you getting that question answered? And so I'm like, you can talk to spirit on a radio. Right, I've got to see this. And I had this kind of excitement and sort of boyish excitement about it, but also like this nervousness of like, what the hell is this? Is this for real? Like, and we're sat there, and it's making this horrendous chugging noise, and it's like it's making this weird noise. Is that radio stations?
Yeah, so it does.
It sweeps through radio stations and it brings, the spirit's able to sort of manipulate that noise to bring their voice through it.
Say the name then, John.
It says my name. It says talk to Jared now. And you can hear 2 or 3 people around us saying, oh, you just said your name there, Jared. So we're asking it questions, and it's saying that these things that you're going to learn, and you're going to learn to understand these devices, and it's giving me this message. These devices, the reason I learned to use them was for us to work together, because I've always had that knowing that he is there. I've wanted to know, what's he experiencing, what life is he leading, where is he? And I think that's there's something powerful about that. If we can start to understand the spirit world, we can start to understand ourselves. And when I went through these different messages, I found that his concern was just as much for this world and for us living here as it is as mine was for where he was.